Good afternoon today, everyone. So we have a training for ABBA photo accessibility photo verification, which is a new project. It's actually similar to those who have done ABBA accessibility, but there are some changes. So do take note and make sure you read the changes. And let's just get started, I think. So this is, before I forget, this is the qualification. And so I will show you what it looks like on the dashboard. And I will go through the instructions very shortly. Okay. So this is just to show you what the qualifications will look like. You will get, as I mentioned, the name of the project is ABBA Accessibility Photo Verification. So you will have 4 questions that you have to answer. And I will go through them in the instructions. And basically you have to answer 10 of these. That is what's required until you reach the stop sign. Okay, so you answer each one and then go next until you've done 10. Okay, let's go to the instructions. See if I can minimize this, move it away. Okay. Yeah. So what is this project about? Basically, it's about identifying accessibility features. In particular, we're looking for step-free access on a property listing. Okay, so you're required to look at the listing, find information relating to such as the photos, captions, descriptions, and structured data. And once you have gone through all the information, compared them, and you're satisfied whether there is step-free access or not, then you're required to answer 4 questions, like what I showed you just now, with yes, no, or unsure. So for this qualification, you are required to attempt 10 tasks. So this is what I mentioned. You are to look at the photos, captions, description, and the structured data. And this is what you get after you've completed 10 tasks, okay? So this step-free access is meant to help people to identify, like a listing where there should be accessibility for people with disabilities, mobility restrictions, children, perhaps small children, the elderly, and of course those who are wheelchair bound. So as you know, there are some special listings where there is no steps at all. So a wheelchair can just access the whole home or can enter very easily to the entrance. So this is what we're trying to identify. That's the purpose of this project, so that the client or Airbnb can go through this very easily, right? They can, once you have identified these 4 things. So we're only looking, of course, accessibility can be everything. Right? It can be the shower, how high the shower is, how access through the whole room, all the houses. But for our purposes, for this project, we're only looking at 4 areas, which is the outdoor entrance, which is from the, if you have a building and you have a path going into the building. So we're looking at that path before you enter the building itself. So that is the first part of it, the path, right? The second one is when you're at the front door itself. So this can be if you're in the home, immediately as you enter, that will be the front door, the main door. If it's a building, then this would be, let's say, it's a multi-story building. This would be when you, as you enter, and then through the outside entrance, let's say there is a lift, you take the lift, and then you go up, and then you are in the apartment, the main door before you enter the apartment. So take note that you will encounter both, most likely multi-story buildings and single-story houses, okay, single or double-story houses, for example. So just note the difference between those two. And then there's also step-free access to the bedroom and step-free access to the bathroom. So for step-free access to the bedroom, this is basically just the main doorway before you enter the bedroom, and the main doorway before you enter the bathroom. So it does not refer to anything else in the bathroom while you're in the bathroom, like a shower or the bath, you know, how high it is and stuff. It's only the entrance part, the doorway, okay? Right, so this is just explaining how you go through the listing. So you will have a listing page URL given to you. So you just have to click it. And once you open the listing, if it's in a foreign language, then make sure to click the translate button so that it's understandable, translate it back to English. And check if you have any issues, like maybe the URL might not work because of an error. In this case, do report it. You can just click the report button down here, right? There's usually a report button down here. I can't show it right now, but it's at the top, sorry, at the bottom left, bottom right. Okay, so this is what the listing URL would look like. Okay, so what are the 4 things that you need to look for is the photo captions. Now, it's very important when you go through the listing and look at the photos to read the text that comes with it, because sometimes there's some explanation which is not available anywhere else. And this might explain, for example, let's say this is the front door, right? So this will say, this is the front entrance. So this will be very, you know, because we need to know the entrance to the main door. So if this is mentioned in the caption, that clearly identifies that for you. So you don't need to find out, is this the back, is this the front, right? It's obvious. Okay, so the other thing is, the photos is very important for this use case, especially because this is where you can see, where you were supposed to estimate if there is a step or not. And sometimes it's, of course, it might be mentioned in the description, but usually it's more visual, you know, it's shown on the photo and then you're supposed to identify it. So photos are very important and very strong evidence. The listing description is usually listed just underneath all this, you know, information, the title, and it's crucial that you click show more, and you must read everything. Okay, so don't just take the first few lines and then think that you have all the information required. This use case, do take your time, that you should not rush it, because minimum you should take at least 10 or 15 minutes, maybe more, depending on the listing, as you have a lot to read through. And some of the description is very short, some of them is very long, but it may have all the information that you require to answer the questions. But remember, you need to look at all 4 things. Okay, the photos, photo captions, listing description, and the structured data. So this is the structured data. So click it, and what you want to, what's important here is looking for things called like stairs. If it mentions stairs, so that's very crucial when you're deciding step-free access, right? And the other thing is there's a health and safety section, which is usually at the bottom. And it will say something like, some of them will have it, some of them won't, but it will say something like must climb stairs, okay? Let's see if we can find one here. I just want to show you where you can find it. Yeah, here. So it's usually at the bottom, and you just need to click here. So like here, it doesn't say that there is any stairs, so that is not an issue. Okay, so remember you have to scroll down there. Reviews are not important for this project. You're not required to read through the reviews, but everything else I mentioned is absolutely necessary. Okay, so like this, the structured data, make sure you look through it and identify if it says stairs or anything that is important for step-free access. Okay, yeah, so here, read through all this. This is another important part. Sometimes some information, like if it says this is not wheelchair friendly, it might come out here as well. Other things to note. I sometimes find this very useful, where you have a picture. It might tell you for this listing what bedrooms are there, and it might also indicate if the bedroom is on the upper floor or the lower floor. And this may be very important when you are trying to identify if the bedroom is on the upper floor and there are stairs leading to it. Okay, I will go through that in a minute. Okay, so this just tells you if you have an error, this is what it would look like. A 404 error, or basically you don't get a listing at all, right? It's just the main page. Okay, so how do you do the evaluation in deciding whether a property is has step-free access or not? So as mentioned, you need to look for these 4 areas, whether they have step-free access, and what is defined as a step, because we're looking in particular for step-free access. So we need to know what is defined, what do you consider a step. And generally, this is where the lip is greater than 2 inches in height. So the lip basically just means, you know, how far it's raised. You know, the step, the height of it, it should be more than 2 and more, right? 2 and greater. So we don't have, of course, we don't have a ruler or thing. You just have to generally estimate visually. That's why I said the visual part is very important. Is that approximately 2 inches or more? We have, of course, examples to show you what is less than 2 inches. So you can use that as a guide, okay? Right, so this is the explanation I mentioned. How do you define what is step-free access to the bedroom, bathroom? What is step-free entrance to the building? So remember, this is talking about the entrance, and this is talking about the access. So they are similar but different things, right? So for the first 2, you need to mainly focus on where is the entrance. Whereas the bedroom, you need to find out firstly where's the bedroom. Is it located on the top floor, bottom floor? Is it even in the listing, right? And then if it's a studio, all that matters. And then once you find the bedroom, then you need to look at the doorway. As I said, the access here is the doorway, okay, as mentioned here. So I want you to read through this very carefully. This section is very important. So read through, understand what is step-free access, what is a step, and how is the 4 areas defined. Okay. Okay. So when you are trying to decide, you know, what about these 4 areas, you need to understand, just get a sense of the layout of the property. So you're given a property such as this, right? And so let's say you've read through this, and it says it's a farm, and it doesn't say that it's not wheelchair. It's not for people who are in the wheelchair or those who are, infirm. They have mobility issues. It doesn't mention anything of that, so it seems just like a normal house with no special changes or modifications made, right? It says it's well, it says some people say this is a studio apartment, so you might think that it is just maybe 1 floor. Okay, so once you've read through that, you've looked at, okay, before I go further, because it's very important, I'm sure there'll be some questions asking about this. This part, accessibility, where it mentions step-free entrance and well-lit entrance and all the features here, is not relevant. So if you see this in your listing, you don't have to take this into account, okay? So this is not relevant. We're only looking at what I mentioned earlier, the listing description, photos, photo captions, and structured data. So you don't need to consider this, and you don't need to consider reviews. Okay, so back to what I mentioned just now. Once you've gone through this, you just want to see what this property is about, right? Is it, you can see here, it's single floor. It doesn't look like it's a double floor. So everything, this means that the bedrooms and all that are, it's on a single floor. There's no stairs. But of course, if you can't see the picture very carefully, there might be still stairs, because so you need to confirm it with the description and structured data. But on the face of it, you can see, okay, there's 1 bedroom maybe here. Then the kitchen, everything looks level, and this is the bathroom, and yeah, so the front entrance and the entrance to the building is in this picture, right? But you have to go through all of them, right? I'm just showing. So it says here self-contained studio, so it's 1 level. You can see there's no further floors, right? So this is the entrance to we call this entrance to the home, or building. In this case, it's not really a building, but it's similar to what we were discussing earlier. So important to check out for the steps, and you can see here there's no steps, right? It's very smooth going in from the path right up to the door, but unfortunately we can't see the door. So the second part, the first part was this, which is the entrance to the building. The second part is where you have to consider from at the doorway itself. But since this is not clear, this means we cannot really make an assessment unless there are clear more pictures, right? Which so far we cannot find. So as I mentioned, this is what you need to identify. You need to identify, is it a single story, double story? Do they have any stairs? Are the bedroom on the top floor? Which means that if you have stairs, it's not very wheelchair friendly unless there is a lift, right? Some houses do have that, them. Then if there's pictures of a lift, there's mention of a lift, then maybe it's still accessible because of the lift, if it's on the second floor. And you need to consider whether, for example, the listing is at the top floor, but it says that the house has, let's say it's a double-story house, but what we are considering, which is the listing, is on the top floor, but not not on the bottom floor. There are bedrooms on the bottom floor, but this is not the listing. This is owned, let's say the owner is staying there. So even though there are bedrooms on the lower floor, it's not part of the listing. So it's also important to identify the difference, because what we are focusing and what this whole project is about is not looking at the structure of the, I mean, for this of course, yes, but from the outside when you're deciding number 1, number 2, but when you're deciding question number 3 and number 4, which is about access to the bathroom and the bedroom, you're only considering the location, where they're located inside the house, right? So the structure outside is not as important for those 2 questions. And then you need to identify, you need to figure out if the bedroom is the listing bedroom, is it on a step-free access floor? If that listing is, let's say, on the top floor and there's stairs and no lifts, then it's not. If the listing mentions, okay, your room will be on the ground floor, okay, then that's fine, right? Because it mentions that the particular listings that, and then if it says the listing is the whole house, then that's fine. You just need to identify that there is at least 1 bedroom that is step-free. There is 1 bathroom that is step-free, okay? So we can close this one and then we check where we are, okay? So of course, clear images are very important. These are the important things to consider, right? If you don't have clear images, for example, the picture is blocked by trees, it's blur, for example, then you cannot give a definitive answer for that. So in those cases, even though you can see that it could possibly be a step-free, but the picture is half blocked, you can't really see clearly, then it's better to choose unsure in such cases, right? So we want clear images that shows that it's that there is step-free access. Right, so the importance of elevators. This is very important, especially in a multi-story building, because as you know, in a multi-story building, you have the first entrance, which is entrance into the building, and then you have the entrance at the main doorway, which is the second question. So if you have the lift, this will assist you in to show that it's step-free, mainly for the first question, right? Because before you reach the door, you already have the lift that will take you to the property, right? So this is the importance of, or the significance of elevators, right? So again, all these questions, where the listings is, the bedroom, for example, you need to know how many floors there are. Is it on the top floor? Are there steps leading to the bedroom or the bathroom? So this is very crucial. So as mentioned here, if the rooms are on the upper floor and you have to use the stairs to access it, then it's very likely not step-free. This is an strong indicator that it's not step-free. Okay, so that's why I say the location of, you need to get a general layout feeling of the property to know whether the bedroom that is the bedroom that's being listed is on the top floor, or are there any bedrooms on the ground floor? And yeah, and I mentioned that the steps need to be more than 2 inches in height. So the photos and captions can be very useful for this aspect. Okay, so what do you do if the doors are closed? Because not all the pictures will show the doors being open, and this is especially the case for the front entrance into the home. So if let's say the door is closed and you only see the picture from the outside. So by this I mean the door is closed and you don't have the inside picture and the outside picture. So you can't confirm whether there is a step in the inside of the house. Okay, so you can because you can't predict here. You don't know how you can't visually see, right? So you have to select unsure when you get this instance. But if you get a picture, I think there is an example later where you can see the outside of the door. Before you cross the door frame, you can see the height of the step. So if there's no, if it looks pretty flat, it's less than 2 inches, and then it's confirmed on the other side of the door, on the inside, that is also, there's no step, there's no obstruction there, right? Then that's fine to take that as yes, it's step-free, because you got visual confirmation from inside and outside. But if you only have a picture on the outside, or you only have a picture on the inside, then you cannot, and the door is closed, right? You cannot see, you cannot say for sure that it's step-free. Okay, so what can you assume that when a building is step-free? So things like it mentions it's a single-story building, the apartment has an elevator, and the building has several bedrooms, but they're all on the ground floor. Okay, so you can assume this, but I think how you do this is important, because you need to check on visually and the pictures, and probably in the description. So of course, the more evidence you have, stronger the signal it is. So you have a picture, photo evidence, and then it mentions also in the description, this is a single-story home, and you can see in the picture, in the captions, it says it's a studio. So all these are important visual and other signals, right? You need to make sure that it's clear and strong. Okay. Yeah, so this just mentions in particular sections such as what this place offers, other things to note, and health and safety section. These are very important to find. This is where the host puts where there's accessibility issues. The host will mention it here in particular, like if there's stairs, or if this place is wheelchair friendly. So that's why it's very important to also check these parts, right? Okay, so as I mentioned, you can ignore the accessibility section. So we went through this, right? This is the health and safety section. This is the other things to note. So you can see here, it says the apartment is located on the 10th floor, but you are right, there's an elevator to the 8th floor, but you still need to climb. So even though there's an elevator, the fact that you have to climb 2 more floors means it's not step-free. Okay, so that's why it's important to read everything, because in one part it might say, oh, you think, okay, it has an elevator, it's step-free. Let's say in the structured data it mentions that. But then when you read through here, it's not really the full story, right? You have to read, and then you see, okay, it's actually, you still need the extra 2 stairs to climb. So this part you can just ignore. So that's why I wrote here, ignore information here. Okay, so these are the 4 questions. As I mentioned, the 4 areas that you need to look at. So once you've gone through that part, go do it, bit by bit, right? Because it's 4 different areas. And then select whether it's yes, no, or unsure. So yes is, of course, when you are very certain. There's photo confirmation. It says that it's a studio, it's a single story, and then it's very clear, right? So you choose that. No is when it's exactly the same, except that it shows that it's got steps. So there's visual confirmation, there's steps. The steps are higher than 2 inches. Okay, it says the bedrooms are all on the top floor, and you need stairs to access. So this is, again, it's either yes or no. Now unsure is where you cannot readily identify whether it's step-free or not, because, for example, there's not the door is closed, right? So you cannot see whether the entrance is step-free, or the picture, the front entrance is blocked, slightly blocked, or there's no pictures at all. So if you're supposed to identify the bathroom, if it's step-free, but somehow in the listing, no pictures of the bathroom exist. So you can't say yes or no. You can only choose unsure, right? Because it's not clear. So make sure you know the difference, and there's some further explanation here which you can read, right? And yeah, so I think I've explained this earlier, the difference. Now, when you consider all these 4 questions, for all of them, you need to look at photos, captions, structured data, and description. So it's not just a case of, oh, only the front entrance, I'll consider all these 4 things. All these 4 sources of information, you need them to answer the 4 questions, right? You need to consider all of them. And let's say there is a conflict, which I think rarely happens, right? So let's say if the owner says it's wheelchair friendly. So that's one. Okay, in the description, or the host mentions there somewhere, right? It's wheelchair friendly. But then when you look at the photos, it's not, because there's steps. So this is like a conflict of information. So which one do you believe? Do you believe the what the host says, or do you believe the photos? So I say, in this case, if the photos are clear, you follow what the photos show, because there's conflicting evidence and the photos are the strongest, right? If, let's say, there's no photos, and okay, it's just the host saying it's wheelchair friendly, and so there's no other evidence conflicting to what the host says or any source of information, then that's fine. You can take what the host says, okay? So that's what I mean, that you need to sometimes weigh the evidence between different sources. Okay, now we look at the interesting visual parts. Right, so what is step-free entrance? So you can see here, this is the lip that I was referring earlier. So you need to see at the entrance here that there is, the lip is not more than 2 inches. So this is not more than 2 inches. You can see it's relatively flat, it's quite low. And also the entrance coming in. So this is the doorway, right? Entrance coming in looks pretty flat as well, right? Like one level. There's no steps anywhere that you can see in this picture. So this looks fine for step-free entrance, right? And also for doorway entrance, I would say it's fine as well. Now this one, it has a ramp. So this is what you call an ADA compliant ramp. It's meant for those in the wheelchair. So this is also step-free. See, they've made access so you don't have to climb the stairs. They've here, and then there's another level here, and this is fine. This is also allowed as a step-free entrance. Another example here, you can see no steps, smooth from the pathway, is smooth from here to the door. That's fine. This one as well, you can see here. So all these visual clues are very important. So this one is slightly obstructed here, but the most of the picture for this part, you can see is entrance to the building is step-free. Okay, and this one as well, you can see it's step-free. The door, can you see it's slightly ajar? I think you can say, because it's slightly ajar, you can see the front, the front and the back. I mean, so I would say this is also fine, because if there was a step, it would be have seen it across the doorway by now. So this is also fine for question 1 and 2. So all these are mainly for question, this is for question 1 and 2. It's both clear. This is mainly for question 1 because it talks about entrance to building, but the door is closed, so we can't see the door. So this is like unsure for question 2 because we can't see it, right? It's not, you can't even see if it's open or not. So this is unsure. This is unsure unless you have more pictures showing the other side of this door. But the first part of the question is clear. It's yes. So this is yes, both question 1 and 2. You can see the pathway and the doorway. This is clear for question 1. Unsure for, well, we need to see if there's more pictures because it looks like possibly a multi-story building. So we need to see if there's lifts and all that. But just looking at this picture, for question 1, it's clear. Question 1 and 2, it's yes. This is elevators. So some of them will have pictures inside the building. So it's very important, of course, if the bedrooms are, this is if it's, sorry, the listing is in an apartment, right? But it's got elevators inside the building, that's fine. It's step-free access. And of course, if there's elevators in the house and the room is on the 2nd floor, that's step-free access as well. Okay. So this is now the next part is step-free entrance to the home. So this is where you consider if there are 0 steps or if there's ramps and whether the lip is lower than 2 inches. So this part is where you, this is the doorway. So this is the part where you consider for question 2. Okay. So again, this is from the outside, you can see there is no, it's basically step-free. There's no steps here. It's very, there might be some small step here, but it's less than 2 inches. Another one, this is another example where the doorway is less than 2 inches. Another example. So all these you can have a look through carefully. Some of them will have links, of course, so you can click and investigate further. Okay, so I think this is quite clear. This is the example I told you, where you can see from the outside, it's the same door. You can see from the outside and inside, there is no step. So this is where you can say it's step-free, even though the door is closed, because it's the same door. So of course, trying to you know, you have to look at the listing, right? But trying to guess whether this is the same door is another matter. So you have to be very careful and make sure that it is, right? Because if it's actually the back door and then this is the front door, then of course that rule doesn't apply. But in most cases, they will only usually just show the one door, but they won't show the other side of the door. So this is, I think, one of the rare cases. Okay, so question 3, step-free access to the bedroom. So this is what it means. As you enter the bedroom, this part at the doorway has no steps, or the steps should be less than 2 inches. Another important part, but it's not as important as the step, is the size of the doorway, but you don't really need to estimate this. It's only when it looks abnormally small, right? If the doorway looks very narrow, for some reason, I don't know, maybe the structural house looks very narrow, then you can consider and make sure you look at the floor line, right? If there is a step, that maybe this is not wheelchair friendly. So just think of it, because it's supposed to be for people, as I mentioned, who use wheelchairs or who have some issues with mobility. We want to make it to identify this so that they, we can identify homes that are step-free, so that it's easier for them. Okay, so this is another one. You can see there's no step. This one has a slight lip, but it's very it's not too high. So this is acceptable. This is acceptable. So this is an example of a bedroom on the ground floor, and you can access it directly, right? There'll be some examples like that. This is another one from the outside. You can straight away go into the bedroom. So that's again another example, good example. Okay, so it's similar with the bathroom. We are looking at the entrance. This is the only thing we're considering. We're not considering if there are pictures of the shower, and the shower has, for now, okay, this is of course it might change later on, but for now, we are not considering if there's a step into the shower that's higher than 2 inches. We're only looking at the entrance to the bathroom, okay? So the same rules, make sure it's not more than 2 inches. It's not obstructed in any way. There's no steps. Like, these are all good examples. So you can have a look. See, this has a slight one, but it's less than 2. And this is obviously completely step-free. Everything looks step-free here, right? Okay, so this is step-free into the bathroom. Okay, so I think we've gone through all these 4 areas, and of course I've only shown you visual, the photos, but you do need to look at the description. If the description mentions any other information, so just because I just show the pictures, don't just, you need to consider all the informations at hand. Okay, so we can go through this one. Right, so this is where, okay, the next example is where you would select no. So the first part just now was everything that is examples of step-free access, right? So this is examples where it's not step-free. Okay, so this, you can see there's a step here. This looks more than 2 inches. This is the entrance to the home, entrance to the building. Definitely less than, more than 2 inches. Another one, this is an entrance to the building. You can see here steps, right? So this is no. Another one, steps. Even greater, this is like stairs, right? So, and then it mentions here, must, in the health and safety section, must climb stairs only up to the front door. Still, you still need steps. Even if it says 7 steps, just one step that's higher than 2 inches means it's not step-free. So this is the entrance to the front entrance we're talking about. So just now all was for question 1, and this is for question 2. So you can see here, you can see it's more than 2 inches. And this one is not such a clear picture, but it's probably more than 2 inches here as well. Okay, now sometimes you have a lot of loft bedrooms, the bedrooms in the loft, where you have stairs to climb up to it. Obviously, this is not step-free, right? I mean, this is absolute indication that it's not step-free. See all these based in the attic, in the where it's loft, you have to climb stairs. It's not wheelchair friendly. It's not step-free. Okay, see. So the description for this, you can read all this. I think there is a description and also a visual confirmation through the photos. We don't have an example yet for this step-free, no step-free access to the bathroom. Once that is available, I will add it here, but it's the same thing. So, again, this is where you have the bathroom, but the step is more than 2 inches. Okay. Now, this is when you would select unsure. And such cases is, as I mentioned earlier, where the door is closed, so you cannot visually see on the other side of this door whether there is a step, right? And there's no other pictures showing the outside the door. So in cases like this, select unsure. And this is another one. Okay, so this one, the problem is that there are no exterior pictures of the building where this apartment is located, nor are there any pictures of the front door. So we cannot positively verify whether this is step-free. So let's have a look at this one. Yeah, so this is a case of internal pictures only, I think. So you can't tell. So be careful of only pick photos that are relevant to the listing, because the listing will show what's around there and things like that. So don't get confused if you see similar pictures that you think it's part of the building. You have to differentiate, right? See, showing other pictures. Okay, then we're back. See, the pictures are all mixed. Then we're back looking at inside. So you have to filter and select only the pictures relevant. Okay, so we have the picture of the bathroom, and it says bathroom, so clearly it's, but you can't see the entrance to it at all, right? So this is not relevant. Remember, we're not looking at the bath, whether the bath or the shower has a step. We need to see the entrance, and we can't see it. So this is like unsure for question 4 about the bathroom. So the bedroom was the same. We didn't have we couldn't see any picture there, right? I mean, we couldn't see the entrance. Yeah. So you'll encounter a lot of this, and in this case, you can't even estimate the front entrance because there's no picture. So this is definitely a case of unsure. Okay. Yeah. So this is again, the door is closed, so you cannot visually see. Another one, the door is closed. You can click all these links to check for yourself. Okay. Yeah, so this is as shown. You can't see the whole of the room. It only shows the bed, so you can't see the entrance, and therefore you cannot see if it's step-free. So the only answer you can say is unsure. This one, you have you're trying to see if there's a step into the bathroom, but all the photos don't. This is the door, but you can't see the floor. You need to see the floor line to see if there's a step, but the picture only shows above the floor line, right? So you cannot see that again. So this one, but it's not very clear. It's like the slight bottom part is cut off. So again, this is unsure because even though it looks like it's to the floor, but you can't see right to the bottom. You need to see the floor line. Okay, so I think we have like a few more, and then we're done. So this is you need to click on this link. I won't go into I won't go through all of them because there's explanation, so you can read them. And this is a single, I think we went through it just now. This is a single home, a single story home. And remember, generally this is considered step-free, but it's important that you still look for visual confirmation for bedrooms, bathrooms, and also the description. So don't just rely on one evidence. We went through this. I won't go through this. So this one, there's a mention that this home is not single story. However, when we look at the signals in the photos, there aren't any photos showing the entrance to the home. Hence, we cannot accurately determine. So the answer 1 to 4 should be unsure. And there's no mention of steps or stairs. So this is a case where there's lack of information, I guess. Yeah, so it doesn't mention that it's single story. So you don't know if it is. And all the photos, again, no entrance. There's this one, but this is just a deck, right? So we don't consider we're looking at the front entrance. Yeah, again, the rooms you can't. Remember to click because you need to look at the photo captions. I'm just going through this, but don't follow what I'm doing here. So this is let's say this is the bathroom, right? You can't see the floor line, right? So you can't see if there's a step. This is definitely unsure. Okay. So you can read through that. And this is a step. So this is not step free, right? And the front door part is closed, so it's unsure. We can't see beyond this if there's a step. Yeah, so you can read through this and you can see that this is example of mainly unsure for questions 1 to 4. Okay, this is just not step free. You can see here. You can see the stairs going up here, right? Yeah. So it says that this appears to be a single level house, but we still need to verify if it has a step-free entrance. So it's a single story house, but the entrance into it is not. I mean, it's got steps. And there's no clear photos in the bedroom and bathroom, so unsure. Which one is this one? Okay, this one is, I think, quite difficult. Okay, stairs and unclear photos. Let's have a look at this. Okay, so remember I mentioned that visually, sometimes there's an indication in the listing whether there are bedrooms on the top floor and there are bedrooms on the ground floor. So you have to read through here, right? What it mentions here. Okay, this is relatively short and there's no mention of stairs or in other things to note. It doesn't say anything about this being not wheelchair friendly. There are stairs, not for the elderly, right? Because of, again, obstructions, it's not accessible. So that's fine. Now, this is when I find it quite useful because if it says there that it's a 3-bedroom, and then in the pictures, there's 2 bedrooms, right? And the 2 bedrooms, if you look later on, you can see that it's all these bedrooms are on the top floor. So if you consider that there are 3 bedrooms, and then you can see stairs, right? So there's stairs leading up to the bedroom, but one of them, can you see one of the bedroom is step-free here? So you need to confirm, okay, is this bedroom in the top floor or the ground floor? So these ones, like this one, these are the bedrooms, the stairs leading to bedroom. So this is, you can see here, the duvet is the same as the picture just now. So you can see the stairs. So this is the 2 bedrooms that's on the top floor. So this is not step-free. But as I mentioned, very important rule, as long as 1 bedroom is step-free, so the bedroom on the ground floor, then you can answer yes. Okay, this is very important for you to, that's why you need to look through the whole listing. You need to identify where the bedrooms are located. If the bedrooms are located, all of them are located on the top floor, you need stairs to access it, then no. But if you get like a case like this where some is on the top, some is at the bottom, as long as 1 is step-free, then you should answer yes. Okay, I hope you guys follow and understand that because it's very crucial. So that's why it requires a little bit of investigation to identify, because not all the pictures will show you so clearly, right? So this one is the bedroom also on the top floor. Now the bathroom, I believe you can't see the floor line at all, the entrance at all. Yeah, again, so this is not important, right? For this, currently this project, we're not looking at the height of the shower, only the entrance. See, no other pictures. So yeah, I think this is very important, especially this case. So please look through this link. I mean, look through all the links, because you need to understand it before you attempt the qualification. I won't go through this because I think it's similar to the one above. This one is okay. So this is where the host says in the other things to note: accessibility, not suitable for guests with mobility issues, as both bathrooms are upstairs on the first floor and there is a small step at the house door entrance. So if there's no evidence to the contrary, right? So this is what the the host says, and there's no photos that is against what the host says. So then you can answer question 1 and 2 as no. Okay. Let's look at one. Oh, okay. Let's have a look. So this is where, I guess, where the host mentions it. Right. So you can read through all that, and then this part is where he mentioned about the accessibility issue. So we then need to again look at health and safety. Must climb stairs. Okay, so there's stairs in this property. Oops, what's that? Sorry. 2 bedrooms. So there's 2 bedrooms here. Oh, what was it? 4 single. Yeah, 4 single beds. Okay. So you can see it's a double-story building. So you need to know if the bedrooms are on the top or bottom, and if there are actual pictures. So I think this one is not so clear with the entrance. I don't think you can see. This could be the back entrance and front entrance. It just says about the cottage, right? So you have to look through it. Okay, I think before I forget, sometimes this is a tricky one. Sometimes there are beds and then it will have something like there is a sleeping sofa. So do take note that there are cases where the bedrooms are on the top floor, but then you have either visual confirmation or the host says that we also have an extra bed, which is a sofa. Then you can consider the sofa like a bed as well. So let's say you have confirmed by looking at the living room and everything that it's step free, and you see a sleeping sofa. Okay, so this is a bit, how can you identify? This is obviously not sleeping sofa, but if you know it's like a pull-out bed, right? That you can pull out into a bed, then it can be unsure because let's say you can't see the step, or it's a yes. But I would say most of them will you need to just focus on the bed, the bedrooms, like actual bedrooms. But there are rare cases where it might say that there's a sleeping sofa, and then you have to investigate further. Okay, and the sleeping sofa is usually in the living room, right? So it's on the ground floor, so that's why it can be important. Okay, yep. Yeah, see, what else do we have here? Yeah, so the bedrooms look like, you can see the top here, like the roof of the house. So this looks like it's in the second floor. See, all this in the second floor. The door, you can't fully see here, right? Unsure. So you don't know whether this is on the ground floor or not. So you need to investigate further. But the bathroom, you can't see the floors. Okay, you have to click. I'm going through it like this, but you have to, this is the best way to do it because you have to look at the captions, right? So you click. I'm just going through it fast because of time, right? Okay, so yeah, and the rest I think is the same. Once you've done 10 tasks, remember you only need to do 10, then submit it, and you should, in a few days or a day or so, you should know whether you've gotten through. So do take your time, but do watch the limit, right? There is still a time limit to do for the qualifications. I'm talking only qualifications, and yeah. So I think that's about it. Just remember, read through this document very carefully. Spend a bit of time, understand the layout of the house or building. Identify the 4 areas, which is the front, the pathway, entrance into the building, the doorway, right? The entrance through the door, the front entrance, right? So that's number 2, and then entrance to the main bed, entrance to a bedroom, because you only need to identify 1, and entrance to a bathroom. And consider all 4 aspects, 4 sources of information: photos, photo captions, structured data, and what was the last one? Description. Yeah. And you don't need to consider accessibility, you don't need to consider reviews. And make sure you know, when you're answering yes or no, there must be very clear evidence, whether it's photo evidence and no evidence to the contrary. So what I mean is no conflicting evidence, right? But photo evidence is the strongest one. Okay, I think that's about it. I wish you all the best of luck. And of course, we're not able to assist you with the answers for this qualification. But if you have, let's say, general questions, then you can ask them in support. Okay. All right. Stopping this. All right, everyone. Thank you for attending, and I shall have a great day. I shall end this, and all the best.